the same there.
It's an empty mug.
Yeah, hope so. Okay, so yeah, I think really, yeah, there's when there's talk of mindfulness and talk of meditation, can sometimes get this sense that there's a difference between the two, or there's some separation between them, and really they're very supportive of one another, as opposed to my meditation and my mindfulness, or this sort of separation. But really, I mean, they're very supportive. The form of meditation that we're going to practice tonight and cultivate this becoming aware of our physical bodies, almost as the only purpose of our focus and our attention, our awareness, is to be aware of our bodies and to see what's going on. Whereas in a normal day, I mean, you've got a lot of other stuff to contend with, haven't you? You've got work, you've got telephones, you've got emails, or whatever your job is. There's lots of other distractions. Whereas, we're creating this environment tonight where hopefully there's not too many other distractions for us, and it's really a place just to make it easier for ourselves to really see what's going on in this physical body that I lug around with me every day and take around. And a lot of the time we can spend so much time just in this part of the body, just up here, and really there's so much going on here, and there's so many ways it can sort of show you what's going on in your life, what mood you're in and how you're feeling, and these sort of indicators of experience, what you're holding and tension. Where is the tension? What does the tension feel like? What is it like to allow that tension? Is it tightness in the tummy? Is it shortness of breath? And all these sorts of things, which the more we start to really see our bodies in this quiet environment with perhaps a guided directions, the more we can then, when we're out in the world, because as we were saying earlier, that's what it's all about, isn't it? It's not about sitting in this room. It's not about obtaining a wonderfully quiet state that's so peaceful and so wonderful, because they may come and they may be very beautiful, but ultimately, like everything else, it passes. So if you rely on something beautiful, or you rely on this room, or you rely on the quiet, it's not going to serve us that well, because it's quite limited in how it can really bring that peace of mind. So it's very much about almost our training ground in a sense. So then when we use the breath, we're watching the breath. It's an object to come back to. The mind can think, well, I'm watching the breath, and when I disappear into thought, I should be back to the breath. And this practice of coming back, because a lot of the times it can be, oh God, I'm rubbish. I have to keep coming back all the time. I can't stay with it. It can almost be seen as a hindrance, as though I'm not very good at it. But really, it's that keep noticing. It's another opportunity to notice, which when we go into the world, or we go into our daily lives, and we're about to get angry with someone because they've cut us up, or we're about to react in an unskillful way in a conversation, or in a way that may be very reactive and very immediate, the more we've exercised this sort of, there I am, I'm off with thought, back to the breath. It really gives you that awareness to see, I'm just about to do this. Is that what I want to do? And there's just that split second, or more of a split second than you'd normally get if you weren't practicing mindfulness or meditation, that you can go, do I really want to act that way? Is it really going to serve me well and people around me well? And of course that, perhaps not, changes your actions, changes what happens around you, changes circumstances, and ultimately changes your life and those around you. So you can really see just how wonderful just this sort of, because it can just be seen as, well, meditation is just, it's just getting nice and quiet and nice and peaceful, and which is a lovely safe refuge, and it can be quiet. I'm not saying it will be, and it may not be, but it may very well be quiet, which is a nice safe refuge to just, it's sometimes nice to regain our energy in a quiet space that we can cultivate in that manner. But it's not really the essence of the practice of mindfulness meditation. It's really about sort of understanding or getting what they'd call this wisdom. Seeing what goes on, seeing, is this stress that I'm experiencing right now, is it mine? Is it this identification of it being, oh God, this is happening to me, it's unfair. It's my stress, it's my pain, or whatever. As soon as we put that, it's mine, it just, notice how much more painful it perhaps comes. And when we start to see it as, well, what is it really like? When we start to really look into it, is it sort of, is there heat there? Is there, contraction? Or, is it there for, how long is it there for? Was it there an hour ago? Or, let's really start to get interested in our experience. Then it takes on a different meaning then, as opposed to, oh my God, I don't want it. I just want things to feel nice. I just want things to be, I just want them to be okay. Which is quite natural, isn't it? But when we live in a world full of, 8 billion other people and animals and environment and weather and all these floods and everything else that's completely out of our control, if we're reliant on sort of circumstances and exterior conditions to make our lives, sort of how we want them, if we're always trying to get it a certain way, it's a real battle, isn't it? And sometimes you may get it just right. Ah, yes, that's it. That's lovely. Oh God, that feels so good. Well, how long is it going to last for? Isn't it? I mean, you could lie in bed and think this is the most comfortable bed, the most beautiful duvet, and the lovely duck-down pillows, and it's just the right temperature. But if you really think about it, and you think, well, yeah, it'd be nice for couple of hours, be nice for, I don't know, a night's sleep, but would it be nice if you had to stay in that bed for a week, for 2 weeks? How comfy would it be? You'd be like, oh, I've got to get up, I've got to. So it's just interesting, isn't it, how we think that it's really getting things to be just so, but is it really? And it's just interesting. So yeah, I mean, really we'll use the breath just to really come back and to give the mind, because the breath really happens by itself. We don't need to get too involved in the breath. We don't need to get involved at all, actually, in the breath. It will do it by itself. Your body will. And thinking, we don't need to do anything with thinking. Let the thinking thing, it will do its thing. Sometimes if you get too involved and it can try and change it or get rid of the thinking, it creates more of an aversion and a pushing. So what's thinking? It's here. Sort of leave it in the corner. Just keep thinking, but do it. It's over there. Don't have to get involved in the stories or thoughts. Don't have to give them energy. It's just, you'll notice the more concentrate on the breath, the less energy the thinking will have, and it'll fade away. And not have any expectations really. Just, this is how it is right now. How do I meet my experience? So, okay. So shall we have a meditation?